Yeah, we're good. I just love when our producers are like, "Are y'all ready?" And we're like, "No, not really." Are we ever ready? Are y'all ready?
Are you ready?
That's the question.
We put this down before there's a major accident.
Hello, Truth Fam, and happy Freedom Friday. We can't decide on whether or not it's like
Summer?
cold or if it's summertime. I don't know.
No, this is
what the vibe is right now, but
bipolar Florida is. I know when we leave this studio around noonish,
it's gonna be 75 degrees outside.
It's gonna be hot.
But I have to drive 2.5 hours, and then by the time I get to where I'm going, it's gonna be cold again. So
wait, hold on. I'll try to make more of a turtleneck.
Guys, thank you so much for joining Open Mic Ladies today. Clearly, we are in studio, and clearly it is going to be a great day, a great show.
Yes.
We love you all so much. Thank you for joining us.
Hey,
from everywhere.
The government's open. I'm not saying it's effective, but I'm saying it's open. And so we've got a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
We're also going to be talking about some senators that tried to slide in a little wink wink thing for themselves. Well, there are some House reps that didn't vote for the CR for this reason. We'll be talking about that. Also, who do we have joining us today? I'm so excited.
We have John Byrnes joining us from Concerned Veterans for America, which is an amazing organization leading the way and getting our veterans' voices out there for the things that we actually need.
Absolutely need. So yeah, and it's important because not only do our veterans end up becoming some of the best people that serve in public office, but we need to defend them even after they come back from serving. So guys, buckle up. It's gonna be a wild one.
Let's open that mic.
Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of Maggie,ville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat stays.
We were dancing in the studio and busting out some moves from circa 1998.
Your leading move.
Ooh. Welcome to Open Mic, guys. If you're not already, make sure that you follow at Real Aly Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all social media platforms. Set that reminder for our live Monday through Friday so you don't ever miss an episode.
Don't miss it.
Make sure that you share it with your loved ones and people in your circle of influence because they need to be kept up to date on what's happening throughout the country. Aly, I'm glad to have you in studio, ma'am.
Yes, so much fun. That'll be here. No dead air. That's all the day. Dead air. Oh my God. With that. So I was like letting you just ride, and then it didn't work out so well.
This is what happens when you go live. So there is a potential cost to the shutdown. This is what we know. On the other side of this now, we can kind of do the autopsy and reflect back to what did this do to people like you and I and Aly as a veteran? What did this do to middle-class America? I want you to take a quick look at this video, and then after your blood pressure has risen significantly because of it, we're going to talk about it. Take a listen.
Take a look at what the first round of that Democratic fight looked like. Nearly 42 million Americans lost their SNAP food assistance benefits. They were suffering. More than 5.2 million airline passengers faced flight delays and cancellations. 1.4 million federal workers went weeks without pay. And the White House estimates the economy lost about $15 billion every week of those 6 weeks. A massive hit of $90 billion over the entire shutdown. When you count everything all up, you can count them. 10 zeros. House Republican Conference Chair Lisa McClain comes up in focus. First.
This was the plan. It was the plan to cause as much suffrage as possible.
Yeah.
They even said it. The Democrats have said it themselves. Like the minority whip was literally on TV and said, yeah, we understand people are going to suffer and starve, but
it's a game we're willing to gamble on.
yeah.
And listen, a lot of this was to the demise of some of the policies that Democrats have fought to keep in, because as Trump has said, some of these cuts are permanent. We're not bringing back some of the bloat that the Democrats were spending, not just during the Biden-Harris era, but long before that. So now, hopefully, regular Americans right before the holiday can get things back in order. Hopefully, our veterans are getting the services that they largely need. But that's a lot of money, $15 billion a week. Does this kind of open your eyes a little bit to the spending spree that our country is on?
Absolutely. Oof. I mean, how could it not? How could it not? That was I mean, yes, while the shutdown was egregious and a gross misapplication of what our government is actually supposed to be doing, but we've also got a window into how much spending is actually going on, who is actually receiving these benefits, which are not, most of them were not Americans, but also it leads to another issue is why are so many Americans on these government assistant programs, and then how can we fix that issue, right? It's always, you guys know I like this. I don't like just talking about the issue. I like being able to solve the problem. What is the root cause of it, and how can we, as the American people, solve the problem? Because that's not government's job.
Absolutely.
It's not government's job to solve problems for you. It is your job to solve problems for you
100%.
and your community.
Well, so the Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, she came out. This is one of the things that was revealed. So trying to take away the good things that came out from this government shutdown. They have largely, they being the government, has largely been misappropriating SNAP funds, and because of massive fraud. She says 5,000 dead people received it. 500,000 people are receiving it twice using the same name. Take a listen to this.
And 20 plus others did not, and we're suing. We're in a litigation right now. But of the 29 that complied, what we have found is staggering. 500,000 people getting benefits 2 times under the same name. 5,000 dead people. 80% of the able-bodied Americans, meaning they can work, they don't have small children at home, they're not taking care of an elderly parent, they can work and they choose not to work, of course, because they're getting significant benefits from the taxpayer. So this light, Laura, that has now been shined on what is perhaps one of the most corrupt, dysfunctional programs in American history, that we are working now. Very big announcements coming next week on this. We are cracking down. We now have a plan to fix it, and we're really, really excited about doing that for the American people.
So
there you go. We can bring it back, David.
I mean, that's exactly what we were just saying. I mean, I'm glad that the light has been shown on it, and that there are going to be some changes. That definitely needs to happen. But I do think that the shutdown was twofold. It was to cause a massive amount of pain and pressure, right, in order for the Democrats to get things done or to do the things that they wanted to do.
Right.
But it was also a way to just completely undermine President Trump and the success that we have seen over the last 9 months.
It felt like their like initial attempt, like what happened through COVID, where we had this booming economy and then enter this huge shutdown. It was very 2 weeks to flatten the curve that ended up being 600.
It was very similar to that. I mean, there were so many of us, right? We were talking about this. We were like, this is COVID 2.0. Yeah. It's just a different version.
We told them you do it when you wore a mask. They were like,
Color Revolution
I'll deal with it. Well, Aly, we traveled, as many of you did, because you told us, you reached out and emailed us that you were traveling also through the shutdown. And it did cause delays to the airport as we went through TSA, through security checkpoints. We just continually thank them for their service, because many of them did it without pay.
Wow, listen, I just had some, our producer just sent read an article that one thing that is good from the SNAP stoppage is that they found thousands of people getting SNAP benefits from multiple states. One person was found to have a SNAP balance of $85,000 in their bank account. See, this is the problem when you have government inefficiency or lack of accountability in people that work in these offices. The next thing that needs to be doged is DCFS.
Well, and maybe that'll come on the heels of what we're going to get to with the executive order. Ooh. 3D chess, 4D chess is what
We're
Trump plays.
already there, y'all. It's so hard.
She's like, Trump.
Well, it's just that. It's our states. Our states
Yes,
need to be aware of this.
yes,
Our states
absolutely.
need to be dodging the things that are in our state that we have control over.
Absolutely.
That is the entire point. And the fact that we have not codified any of the executive orders, and it's been 9 months. I'm like, I want to throw things, but I won't. I will refrain. I will be classy. We keep it classy here.
We do sometimes. And I wanted to highlight that Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, she did hand out to those very workers, TSA workers who held the line and still went to work without being paid.
And thinking as a political strategist, I'm like, this is great optics right here. It's just great.
Take a look.
Rico, I want to present to you a check and say thank you from the American people. Appreciate it. Ashley, thank you. Yes. And is Leo here? All right, Leo.
Look at that.
Getting their $10,000 bonus.
There's so many black people on the news right now.
All right, well,
I don't know how the liberal media says it's so racist. I just gave out $10,000 to all the black TSA.
I love you, Aly. That's why largely.
That's why I'm like, this is great optics. Sorry, go ahead.
It is. It is. This is great. But it's also very much needed because in talking to these agencies, we were going through security, first of all, because I forgot to not take 3 water bottles out of my carry-on luggage. And they were like, ma'am, take your shoes off. Man, take your belt off. And I'm like, here we go. I'm on a no-fly list. Fabulous. It was 3 water bottles because I can't read, apparently. But during that time, Ally's like just chatting it up, trying to not let me get arrested. And I'm like
shaking hands with all TSA agents. I'm like, how you guys doing? I know it sucks.
My sister's
okay. Like, I get it. Blah, blah, blah. You know, been there, done that. Like, it, you know.
They stalled because I think they think I'm onto something.
It was just so funny. It was so funny. We made pretty good friends at TSA.
We did. So we're glad to see these hard workers.
And I travel from DCA and Tampa all the time. So.
Well, a couple of them in Tampa Airport knew you by name.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the one in DC, they know me. Because I'm friendly. You gotta listen.
That comes as a shock to some people that we don't have horns.
That's because they're all, yeah.
I was told that yesterday at a certain meeting. Like,
oh, wow, you really are nice. Yeah. Yeah, whatever gave you the impression, Jess Crockett.
And if you take the time to get on our wrong side, what are you doing right? Absolutely nothing. Let's take a quick look at our next story too, guys. So going through, obviously the CR passed through the Senate. It had to circle its way back through the House to be approved. I don't know if the Senate didn't dig through and see this or it was like, shh, don't say anything. But then we had, somebody sent me a message the other day and said our Representative Greg Steube did not vote for this CR to open the government. And I was like, let's do it. So sent some messages.
And investigative work, trying to figure it out, because you don't want to automatically ostracize the guy and say something online without you getting context. So this is why building relationships with your elected representatives is so important. So you can text them and be like, hey, you didn't vote for this. Can you explain why?
And largely it's because there was something that was put into that CR, making it not so clean, that allowed for those senators who were spied upon by the DOJ during Arctic frost. It would have allowed them to have a larger settlement through the DOJ. But not that they weren't wronged, but these are senators like Lindsey Graham. And why do you hold us hostage to reopen the government on that? Meanwhile, they didn't put anything in there for our J6ers.
Nothing.
That largely suffered.
So, or our whistleblowers who still don't have work. Steve Friend still does not have a job.
Yep. Ooh, that hurts my heart right there. Take a quick look at...
And they didn't do anything wrong.
Right. This is what Congressman John Rose had to say about it. Take a listen.
I think so many of us are very angry about this, including the Speaker. He and I sat on the House floor last night and talked about this and the background of it before he gave his speech about reopening the government, brief speech, and so proud to get the government reopened. To be honest with you, seriously considered voting against the bill last night, but of course I didn't want to continue what the Democrats have done of inflicting pain upon everyday Americans. The Democrats have made clear that they're not the party of the American people. They're an America Last party at this point. And so we needed to get to end 6 weeks, the longest shutdown in history. That accomplished nothing other than causing suffering for our military, for our air traffic controllers, for hungry Americans that need food assistance. And so proud to vote to end that. But now we have to finish the business of repealing this dirty backroom deal that some of these senators were involved in doing. And frankly, they should just step forward today. And I call on all of them to step forward today and repudiate this and declare that they won't seek these millions of dollars that'll be paid for and come out of the pockets of hardworking Americans who've already suffered enough.
Amen.
Exactly.
Well, and so we call balls and strikes on both sides of the aisle, so you're going to hear it here exactly who those senators were, because thanks to Anna Paulina Luna, our representative from right here in Florida, she's provided a list. Take a look. These are the 8 senators who were behind closed doors where the sausage is made that thought, you know what, while we're holding our middle-class America hostage with a government shutdown, what can we possibly get on it? Listen, out of it. Listen, this is Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, Lindsey Graham, no surprise there, in my opinion, Bill Hagerty from Tennessee, Josh Hawley from Missouri, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, Cynthia Loomis from Wyoming, Dan Sullivan from Alaska, and Tommy Tuberville from Alabama.
I'm just as shocked and blown away
Republicans
as Paulina Luna. I mean, she says this is outrageous and really disappointing to see some of the names on this list. You can't self-deal like this, especially not by weaponizing a government shutdown. And she does say, what about January 6th? She's 1,000% correct. And this $500,000 each, is that what this is? Each?
The provision, and I'm sorry, I just clicked out of it. It was $500,000, up to $500,000 that they could have gotten in damages. Again, I don't have a problem with our representatives trying to hold the Department of Justice responsible for spying on them, but that doesn't get tucked into a deal to open the government for oxygen for our American people.
Exactly.
Like, how self-serving are you?
Extremely. And I think that is just...
And you're a Republican, so it's worse when you do it on our,
Outrageous. I'm extremely disappointed. And I think everybody should send them a nice letter and tell them how disappointed you are about that.
A nice letter.
You can find their emails very easily.
We could probably draft one similar. Well, no, I want you to speak from your heart. How much did that hurt you, veterans, when they couldn't pay you, but yet they wanted to have a sweetheart deal with the Department of Justice? Again, I understand.
On top of the 6 figures they already earn.
Good Lord.
Like, this is just insanity.
Well, in some good news, J.D. Vance did have this to say about how Schumer has basically ended his career with the way that he's handled this shutdown. Take a listen to our vice president.
During the process, at any point, did any Democrat, any leader, did you have conversations with them, say, work this out with me? Did that happen behind the scenes that nobody knows about?
Oh, of course. Privately, we were having conversations all the time. And frankly, privately, the Democrats would recognize the position of their far left was crazy. But they all feel a little bit like they're being held hostage by their far left. You said it very well. Chuck Schumer, this probably ended his career, and he was the person who was fighting more than anybody to keep the government shut down. So the far left, they're never going to be satisfied unless the Democrats are willing to burn down the entire country. Luckily, there were a few moderate Democrats who allowed reason to prevail. We have to step back, Sean, and remember how crazy the demands were. They wanted $1.5 trillion, a lot of that health care benefits for illegal aliens. They wanted us to undo all of the great border policy that we've been doing. They wanted us to refund, like you said, NPR and PBS. They were basically saying that we want the far left's priorities to dominate in the Trump administration, and unless that happens, we're going to set the entire country on fire. A really disgraceful moment for the far left of the Democrats, and frankly, a very revealing moment for the American people, because what were they asking, Sean? They weren't saying that we want to do great things for the American people. They weren't talking about jobs. They weren't talking about health care. They were talking about give us $1.5 trillion for health care benefits for illegal aliens. And unless you do that, we're going to make it impossible for you to fly home to see your family on Thanksgiving. It's just craziness that was ever their position, but it was.
It's not. It's narcissistic. And I wonder if these 8 senators that decided to push in or put in or hide this $500,000 reimbursement or whatever this is for from the DOJ, if they're going to help those that have been victim of the weaponization of government over the last, I don't know, 5-6 years.
Yeah, because our J6ers don't have the ability to have a sweetheart deal. And here's the thing. Largely, if all the documents are accurate, go through a court of law because you have a case. You have your right, senators, to have your day in court. But if we need that discovery, don't cheat the American people that right to have that discovery.
By putting it in a bill to reopen the government. Like, how cowardice.
We need to know who in the Department of Justice was largely, who was responsible for that. Why wouldn't you want that moment of discovery in a court?
Right.
It stinks. One of the Democrats who did side to open up the government and largely was making a lot of sense in the last couple of weeks is, of course, Senator John Fetterman, which we did find out this. If you take a look, they posted this on Senator Fetterman's page. During a morning walk, Senator Fetterman sustained a fall near his home. He's been transported to the hospital in Pittsburgh. We just want to keep him in our prayers. Because that's we know he's had some issues.
And he's been getting a lot of hate. So that he was asked in an interview what that was like, and there were people that are saying from the left that they wish that the stroke took him out, and why is he still breathing? Like these kinds of conversations.
But makes me think then he falls.
Right, but Republicans have been pretty much. I mean, some of them are angry and would call him names, but he's like, you wishing death upon me is different than just calling me a name. And so he's like, the violence is definitely more on the left side, the extreme left side, than it is the right side. But if you go through all of his posts right now, it's all Republicans wishing him well, praying for his recovery. Everybody else is just kind of like, oh, well.
Huh, that sounds familiar. Where else have we ever heard Democrats who have largely found common sense and then suddenly we find them in an America First movement? Donald Trump, General Michael Flynn, RFK Jr.,
Tulsi Gabbard.
The list goes on and on.
A lot of them. And the heads of movements like Pressler and Strzok. Like, this is crazy.
It is crazy, but we do wish him well and a speedy recovery. Guys, we are going to take an early commercial break because we have a wonderful guest. John Byrnes is going to join us after this break. So don't go anywhere. More Open Mic after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None. Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
Welcome back to Open Mic with Aly and Michelle, largely known as Open Mic Ladies. You can go to openmicladies.com to find out more and contact us. But Aly, with you obviously being a former veteran, you still are, and Tuesday being Veterans Day, I think it's fair that we spend some time talking about those organizations that are out there every day fighting for veterans and for veterans' rights, and to be able to have that voice amplified through our government. That brings us to Concerned Veterans for America. I want you to take a look at this quick video.
Many veterans wish to serve their fellow citizens after they've taken off the uniform. We understand the frustration many feel when they have sacrificed so much for this country, yet leaders in Washington don't seem to listen.
At Concerned Veterans for America, we believe veterans have a special connection to the promise of America and can be a powerful force for positive change in our country. Veterans' unique experiences fighting in harm's way, deploying around the globe, and committing to serve something larger than ourselves
gives us a perspective on America's future that is unique to veterans. We know what's at stake because we've experienced bad policies in action.
We know the issues because we lived them.
Service doesn't end just because we hung up our uniform.
Whether it's healthcare freedom, a strong economy, or smart defense policies, we fight for the things that impact all Americans.
CVA is more than veterans. We're civilians, families, voters, and activists.
People from all walks of life, working together to make a difference for every American.
We're a community, a movement of people who care deeply about our country.
We believe in building strong communities. That's the key to driving meaningful change.
By coming together at the local level, we elevate our unique perspectives
to advocate for policies that benefit all Americans.
We advocate for policy that makes sense for American families, American communities, and America's future.
Our mission remains the same: shape a stronger, more secure, freer America, where everyone is free to live their American dream.
Together, we are CVA. Together, we can shape a better American future.
March beside us. Come see what veterans can do for America.
That's amazing.
Well, if that doesn't make you want to join the organization, I don't know what else will. That was a fantastic commercial, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have joining us Mr. John Byrnes. He is the Strategic Director for Concerned Veterans for America. Thank you, John, so much for joining us today. How are you? And happy
I'm well.
Veterans
Always
Day.
good to join you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you. And like she said, happy belated Veterans Day. So we know a little bit of the framework now of what you do there at Concerned Veterans for America. But tell us a little bit about really what during this government shutdown. I mean, I know we know what it's done to the SNAP benefits and others. How has that affected our veterans? Because I don't think a lot of people mainstream really understand that.
Absolutely. It certainly, just like everyone else in America, it had negative effects. When it comes to the VA healthcare portion, the normal hospital operating hours, healthcare, clinics, doctor's visits, those were unimpacted primarily. But there were a lot of programs that are funded through the regular continuing resolution process that aren't set aside as mandatory payments. And those include things like mental health pilot programs. Those include things like, particularly critical, nursing care, acute care, healthcare, in-home care, that kind of thing for caregivers, which is really detrimental to elderly and disabled veterans, right? Those are the people, the veterans who need the help the most were the ones who suffered the most.
Exactly.
And that's just unforgivable. The military, I think one of the Democrats' plays here was they were hoping that by saying the military is not getting paid, there'd be this enormous pressure from the public on the Republicans to fold, because in the military, Aly, this, we're everybody's favorite part of the government, right? We're the only one that they like. I mean, there are some exceptions, but we generally act with integrity, with humility, with kind of a focus on the mission, unlike a lot of government employees. But President Trump, Secretary Hegseth made sure that the military itself wasn't going unpaid. Didn't mean they were unaffected. Lots and lots of Defense Department employees weren't paid, including teachers, shop owners or shop tenders on the MWR facilities. So it impacted military families a lot as well. But the big thing is that veterans are just like regular Americans. It impacted everyone. Veterans travel just like Americans travel. Veterans are entrepreneurs just like Americans are entrepreneurs. And all of those folks suffered from a lack of predictability in the government funding. Nobody expected it to go 6 weeks. It got so bad after 4 weeks that the Allied Federation of Government Employees, not a union I'm a fan of by any means, they generally stand in the way of VA reform when we fight for it. But even they were quietly calling on the Democrats. They didn't name them by name, but basically saying pass a continuing resolution, a clean one, and we can figure the rest of it out later.
That's good. I mean, we even here did some calls to action to get the government open. We did a live event and had 500 people call Chuck Schumer's office and tell him to pass the CR. So, I mean, I think we're all on all aspects of this, on all fronts of this for the last 6 weeks. We've been trying to get this thing open. And finally, there's some relief at the end of the door, at the end
And then the tunnel, absolutely.
Good Lord. But yeah, so there's also this new legislation called Pay Our Troops. It's not necessarily new. It's just being brought back out into light again. Are you familiar with this piece of legislation?
I haven't dug into it deeply, but I have, I've read the top lines. So.
Right. Yeah. So it's essentially to make sure to guarantee that pay and allowances of active duty military and key civilian contract support staff are getting funded through like a government shutdown or a funding gap. So do you guys have a position on this? Is this something that you see supporting in the near future?
We think it's even more, absolutely military should be paid. Contractors, critical functions should all be paid. But beyond that, we should pass the bill PSGA that prevents government shutdowns, period, the Prevent Shutdowns of Government Act. There's no reason that we should be doing this, every year or every couple of years, depending, every year this could happen, but every couple of years it becomes a critical point when the parties are split on some issue or one party thinks that they have the upper hand and can hold the other, accountable to their preferences. Right. So we really should be working on just a Prevent Government Shutdown Act, right? This should not happen. If we don't reach an agreement or if somebody's holding out for something like COVID era extensions, the government should just go on until they sort it out.
Yeah. One thing that we love that you do, John, is that you really speak and bring attention to some of the gaps and delays in services that our veterans and their families go through. Largely, this is underreported. They're kind of like the quiet people that fight in silence. We don't want them to suffer in silence. So I'm hoping that part of what we can do through this platform is try to educate the general public on what our veteran friends and families go through. Can you speak a little bit about some of the delays in service or gaps in services that you're seeing and how you through the organization are trying to fight that and battle that?
The biggest piece, again, for us, and I think the biggest challenge that veterans face is the ability to get quality, timely health care through the VA. There's a promise that's made. It's a little different with veterans. The promise that made that if you were in need, you can use the veterans, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs health facilities. There's a lot of layers to that. If you are service connected, it's almost automatic. There's almost no, I don't think there are any copays. If you just happen to enroll at the right time, it might work more like regular insurance. But that guarantee is there that you can go there and get help. The problem is that there are so many backlogs there that, the backlogs are the reason for the mental health crisis and the suicide epidemic that we see amongst veterans right now. But this isn't just limited to veterans. So we work very hard to pass in the past bills like the Mission Act that were supposed to expand the ability for veterans to get healthcare outside the VA paid for through their VA benefits. But the VA, being a giant bureaucracy that owes a huge debt to their employee workforce, who happens to be all unionized, mostly under the AFGE aforementioned, they fight this, right? They do not want, even the laws that are passed, they do not want to enforce them. They do not want to follow them. So we're working to try and get past a bill called the Veterans Access Act, which would just take the rules about getting veterans out into the community care and ensure and act into federal law that it's basically a crime if a VA bureaucrat doesn't let you do that, if they don't inform you that they're supposed to send you to community care when community care is due to you.
Oh, this is so important. I know so many people because I'm in spaces all the time and we have a lot of veterans. A lot of my friends were in these X spaces. Essentially, it's radio for Twitter. And this was one of the topics that she's saying literally like yes, we understand that community care is available, but if you, the veteran, do not know that is available, whoever you're speaking to at the desk is not informing you that you have that option. And I feel like that is definitely a disservice to our service members who need it most. And I like the idea of making that almost like a criminal offense. You're keeping someone from accessing health care, Democrats, who absolutely need it. And you're stifling, you could essentially end up by doing that, hurting that person further or keeping them from getting life-saving care that they deserve and need. So I appreciate you guys doing this. It's so important.
And Aly, I think, John, what we've seen this happen with other departments. You think about the Department of Education largely not being extremely effective. And so you see kind of a dismantling of that. I think outsiders looking in think that the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is largely always going to operate under best intentions or with the best, most efficient processes. And if that's not happening, we need to maybe look at that department as a whole, too. I want to ask you real quick, probably both of you.
I think they should doge it, to be honest with you.
Doge it.
What do you think?
You know, that is such a third rail. There are so many people and so many veterans who do not understand what happens there. They just believe that the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is there and that they are wholly competent, wholly faithful to their remit, to care for he who has borne the burden and their families. And so whether you're a veteran or just a civilian, it seems to most people that this is a great organization, and they don't realize that the fraud, waste, and abuse that it pervades government is just as bad, if not worse, in the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. There's been numerous times where we've attempted to reform it. You saw it with Secretary Collins and President Trump's attempts earlier this year to reduce the workforce there. And there was pushback immediately from people who just didn't understand why people were being furloughed, laid off, asked to excel elsewhere, because they don't understand the huge amount of bureaucrats that are there who are really just there to move paperwork around and collect a government check.
Exactly. I mean, I have one that's super close to my house. It's literally 5 minutes from here. But if I were to register to utilize veterans' access to healthcare, I would have to drive an hour and a half to like St. Pete somewhere or down in Orlando in order for that to happen. Why can't I just fill out the paperwork at my satellite office? Like the amount of red tape that a veteran has to go through in order to receive care is why many veterans get their hands off and they're like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I dealt with this while I was in the service. I'm not dealing with this while I'm out of it. It is just the bureaucratic it's a headache. And then trying to get your appointments, it's like 6 months to a year out. And you're like, wait, how is that even possible? Why can't I just get what I need when I need it? And it's like, do we even privatize? Like, how is that even working? Like, it's just, does reform really work for the VA? There are a lot of questions, and I commend what you guys are doing. I don't know if I had the patience.
Well, and I wanted to ask you, because I think one thing as an outsider that we don't really talk enough about, but I'm sure you hear this all the time, is how when you come back from service, whether it's, a wartime or just, the time separated from your family, what is that process like, and what does Concerned Veterans for America do to largely try to address that? Because it's not like when you graduate high school and you try to get into the workforce. There's a total adaptation that has to happen. So speak to that a little bit, if you could, John.
Yeah, it's definitely still a struggle. I think it's always going to be a struggle as long as society is as large as it is, right? I talk about this sometimes, and if you think about human history, evolution, humans start as hunter-gatherers, and society is very small. When there are wars or conflicts with neighboring tribes, neighboring hunter-gatherer groups, the whole community is involved. The longer our history is going on, the bigger those communities, we go to nation states, to empires, to continental-wide countries, and you get elites who participate in the war, then you get elites that no longer want to be part of the war. And there's a huge gap in American society. Concerned Veterans for America, we know that there are hundreds of organizations across the country working on that. We're happy to work with them when there's a policy change that can be made in the government, and there are. But that's their comparative advantage. Our comparative advantage is bringing veterans into a community and doing that advocacy work, making sure that the government itself approaches those problems from a bottom-up perspective and doesn't use a cookie-cutter approach. Aly could tell you, it changes from generation and service era to service era, but there's always this 36-hour course on how you can get a job when you get out, and it's never really useful to the environment you're in, because it's always based on the last generation's experience. So fixing the government so that they don't have those kind of programs anymore, outsourcing it, bringing in organizations, nonprofit, for-profit organizations that can help the veteran or the service member exiting. That's the best way to approach that. And that's not necessarily fully a government operation. They got to find that public-private partnership that works.
Right.
Again, our job is to kind of build those communities to advocate for those solutions.
Absolutely. And you want to bring in new talent, new ideas, fresh faces, fresh ideas, and it definitely does have to be bottom up. And the thing that I get the most from veterans that I speak to is that they're tired of suits making decisions for those of us that have served. they've never served a day in their life, and they're making decisions for the rest of us, and it just doesn't work that way. It's not a one size fits all, like you said. You have to make sure that everybody's voice is heard in these specific aspects, and especially when it comes to healthcare and choice. When it comes to healthcare, I mean, that's just so important, especially for the families that are serving along with their military members. So it's an amazing thing that you guys are doing. I'm happy to support and kind of be a part of. I mean, I am a little bit.
Well, and I think we probably have a lot of people out there asking that question. John, how can we largely help support Concerned Veterans for America? How can we get involved and direct our veterans to where they can go as well?
So our website is CV4A.org. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter. Both of those organizations, we're at Concerned Vets. Either one, it's the same handle there. I'm way too old to do Instagram, but we're on Instagram. You just have to use the search link there because I just don't do Instagram. So, but particularly the website, CV4A, letter C, letter V, number 4, letter A, CV4A.org. There's a take action button there. You can go through a lot of the issues that we fight for, whether it's refunding the government, opening the government, making government work for America, fixing veterans health care. There's all kinds of places where you can take action. There's some of them are petitions, but a lot of them are direct emails that will go to your 2 senators, your representative, and in some cases the White House, saying, I really care about this issue. It'll get you into our system. You'll get an ask to volunteer. If you don't want to volunteer, we'll leave you alone after that. But it's a way to sign up, join, participate, pick the issues that care the most to you, and contact your representatives about that.
That is the best way to do it as well. So
it is CV4A.org. When you go there, there's a red button at the top that says Take Action. Guys, whether you are a veteran yourself, you have a loved one who's a veteran, let's all get behind an organization that's really out there trying to be the voice and building a community for veterans.
Absolutely. Look, John, I'm going to tell you something. Congress is scared of moms, and they're definitely more afraid of veteran moms than they are afraid of just our regular moms. So if you guys ever need some help up in DC, you let us know. Okay?
Yes, because every mom wants to support our vets.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Anything that you guys need, you could just let us know. I will be willing to help for sure.
I'll let our communications director know. She'll be in touch.
All right. We love it. Thank you so much, John, for joining us.
Have a great morning, ladies. Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you.
I just love CVA. They are an amazing group, and they really are boots on the ground trying to get some things done. I mean, the connections that we've built go very deep and very wide around the nation, and it's amazing to see what comes out of that. We understand that we have an administration now that is really paying attention to what the bottom up is asking for, and we gave a mandate November 5th, 2025, the best birthday ever I've ever had. It's just amazing. I got President Trump to be president.
I mean, I think we didn't have a cake or candles, but you got Trump as a president. So largely you should.
We did cheers though. We had a couple drink girls with all our friends that were there. So I pity the man who gets me next because I don't know what I want for my next birthday.
Can you deliver a presidential election, sir? You know what? We won't bluff it.
I got to watch. I got the view of the Capitol and a view of the White House for my birthday this year.
No, literally, like there were people in DC that made sure since it was Ally's birthday and we were in DC that she got not only a view of the Capitol during
our dinner and our drink celebration,
but also a view of the White House. Yes, 2 different locations, and I was like, wow, amazing. It was pretty amazing.
You got to see the bulldozer, the biggest bulldozer,
building the ballroom. Well, guys, this is why we're so thankful for our veterans, because you see some of the things not only that we've dealt with, obviously, around the globe over the last 30, 40 years, but when you hear things like this is Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He posted this. He's building on what the President of the United States said, that they are uprooting Antifa's campaign of political violence. So the Department of State has said, Ally, that they're designating 4 foreign terrorist organizations as specialty designated global terrorists. This is, listen, you saw what they did to the cartel that are bringing in fentanyl and other poison into this country when they determined that the cartels were terrorists. This is now putting a target directly on these 4 organizations. I'm going to name them for you real quick.
Yeah.
Antifa OST. I don't know if that's like a pronunciation. Informal and Anarchist Federation, International Revolutionary Front.
OST is Germany-based. The second one that Michelle just read, the informal anarchist Federation International Revolutionary Front is Italian.
Yes, they have the Armed Proletarian Justice. It's a Greek-based anarchist anti-capitalist group. Then they have the fourth one is Revolutionary Class Self-Defense. That sounds like a class you would sign up for. But it's another Greek-based group, and this is why it's so important. Because obviously, I know you're sitting there saying, "Well, we're America first. Why do we care about these global terrorist networks?" Because they're funding the crap happening in this country. Yep. Remember when the UN said through documents that they want mass migration and flooding through the southern border? Well, their plan was to destroy America, I believe, from the inside by bringing in people into this country who don't understand, first of all, our Constitution and certainly don't respect it. So now we have an issue, right? They're here in our country. The funds are coming into this country. You're seeing calculated uprisings, highly funded by these four organizations. So part of what you've done, Antifa, is you've overplayed your Trantifa hand, and now we've been able to see where the money's coming from. So now the mother organizations, who are largely funded, are coming out and we're saying now, okay, we've got our eye on you. You guys are now deemed global terrorist organizations. That frees up our military and resources to act accordingly.
Absolutely. Well, and while I do appreciate this, I do have a friend that Chad Caton calls him Democrat Tifa. Oh, that's so funny. I love.
Is he a friend though? Like you guys can actually have debate? That's cool.
No.
Okay.
Chad Caton.
No, I'm saying
I'm fired up. He calls Antifa Democrat Tifa.
Oh, I thought you were talking Democrat Tifa was a person.
No. Okay. Sorry if that was confusing, but
just me.
While I appreciate that this is happening, this administration, listen, hear me, and those that are running for specific offices, especially the one, because we have Tampa, right? The senator that's running, the representatives that are running for Senate, where McDill is. I need y'all to hear me. CAIR, CAIR, needs to be designated a terrorist group.
Yes.
And so does the Muslim Brotherhood. We cannot wait until there is a mass casualty event locally or abroad or nationally. This needs to happen now. All of the information y'all already have. Y'all know it. Y'all know it. It's out there.
And
you can find it.
Our states should be acting on this.
That's my point. Especially if you're trying to run to sit as a senator where we have the largest intel base in Florida. That needs to happen. And it needs to be on your radar. So just pointing it out there.
Thank you for bringing that up. This is something we will definitely keep an eye on. But as we shift not only from the funding of global terrorists, let's talk about those within our borders that seek to do harm, that maybe don't necessarily identify with a terrorist organization, but they did plant a pipe bomb on January 6th, and we found out that it was one of their own, actually, somebody who's from the United States. I want you guys to know this is not largely reported. I went to every major news network to see if they have reported it. Nothing. Nada.
Nope.
So we're going to bring it to you here. Take a look at this. This is a letter that was sent out from the director to the director of Secret Service. What they're asking for here is for Kamala Harris's, who at that point was vice president, Kamala Harris's Secret Service detail should be questioned in the January 6th pipe bombing in front of the RNC and DNC location. We now know, and I think I sent another asset here so you can see, Blaze Media has reported that this person that put this pipe bomb there has largely been identified as a Capitol Police officer.
Who was in a relationship with another Capitol Police officer.
And they've known about this since January of this year, allegedly. So I'm not sure what the frickin' holdup is, but we would like some traction on this story, please. We're not going to go quiet. I don't know who's paying you over there at Fox, but we're not going to sit here idly and not cover this story. This is something that happened on our soil, in our capital. And you're telling me that the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, her Secret Service has 2 times, and I'm sorry I don't have the exact times, one was early in the morning and one was a couple hours after, that they allegedly swept that entire area and did not find anything. And yet you're going to tell me the vice president of the United States was steps away from where this pipe bomb was planted and nobody saw anything? Nobody said anything? You know what I think, Aly? I think they wanted to play this off as an alleged assassination attempt on the Vice President Harris. That did not gain any traction, thank God. But I think it's because we've largely realized this has been an inside job. So where's the handcuffs?
I don't know.
Where's the clink clink?
I don't know. Instead, we got people playing games.
I know what you were gonna say.
We got people playing games and suing other folks, and it's folks that are whistleblowers. It's a wild mess. And I don't like it when there is smoke, there is always for sure some fire. So
some fire.
Look beyond what is being shown to you and dig a little deeper and actually read.
And I will ask you this, if you have anybody within your sphere of influence, whether it's family, adult children, next door neighbors, and they don't know about the January 6th pipe bomb revelation that's come out recently, ask them why.
Yeah.
Why do they think it's not being reported? And then give them a little link to this show and let them understand this is why you have to go outside of lamestream media to get the understanding of what's being fed to you, what's not being fed to you, and to ask the questions yourself. Let's pivot a little bit, Aly, because you kind of tapped on this a little bit earlier in the show. But we had not only the commander-in-chief, but his beautiful wife, Melania, sat down the other day to sign an executive order that's going to boost support for foster care children.
Yes.
Again, coming off the heels of an administration under Biden that really left children to their own defenses, these unaccompanied minors that were smuggled across the border and largely sold into forced labor and sex industries. Now we have a president, commander-in-chief, who cares about the children, foster children. This is pretty cool.
No, this is amazing.
Let's take a look. I don't think there's much audio. Melania signed too.
Yeah, he made her sign it. Oh, it's so cute.
Man, I love it. How much do you love a man that's like, we're gonna do this together?
I love that. I mean, oh, that's amazing. And we had so many friends in the room.
Yeah. That's awesome. Look at her, stand by your man.
Well, this was partly her initiative.
It is, absolutely, absolutely. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's essentially to help the children that age out. I think it's more than 50% of foster care kids age out of the foster care system, and then they have nowhere to go. There really aren't any programs that are, developed for these teens. They're not given scholarships to go into trade schools. They don't really have access to counseling that's really worth a damn, because it's government funded counseling. And so a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have been aware over the last, 45 days, but when government does anything, it doesn't do it well.
Efficiently.
Ask your local veteran.
And I was just saying, we just realized in one of the meetings I was in the other day that the state of Florida is actually, they are coming out and initiating this mentorship program.
Yeah.
We allow our tax dollars to go to make sure that each one of these young people that are about to graduate out of the foster care system, that they have an adult mentor that's been properly screened and vetted to sort of help them to just, to kind of
right.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you're in foster care, there's a lot of trauma that comes with that.
And
a lot.
And you know who one of the #1 groups are that become these mentors?
Veterans. Because we understand resilience.
Absolutely.
Especially disabled veterans.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And perseverance. Guys, we're going to just kind of lighten it up a little bit because it's been a heavy show, I understand. Who doesn't love a man who will stand there and compliment his woman in front of everybody?
Well,
Take a listen to Donald Trump here.
I couldn't do it. Yeah, well, thank you, Melania. And our country is truly blessed to have this magnificent and very caring First Lady. They love her. Every time I get up and make a speech, they say, we want our First Lady. I said, what the hell? I'm not good enough? I'm not. But thank you very much. Great job. And it's great the work you do in so many ways.
Oh, I love it. And it's crazy because you have The View cackling hens that are like, he doesn't love his wife and she doesn't love him.
When you can tell me what a woman is,
then maybe we'll listen.
We'll discuss. We'll discuss. I'm still not going to listen, but we'll discuss. So nobody's going to ever show you this other side of President Trump. They're never going to show it to you. Trump derangement syndrome is not yet covered by Medicaid, but I think
probably
will be at some point because we got to get these people some help. Take a look at our commander-in-chief. He is a father. He is a grandpa, a poppy. Take a listen.
As for you, you want it or you don't have to have it. Would you like it? She's smart. She said yes. So cute. You want one, honey? You want one, too? Look at him. Oh, he's got a lot of Italian blood in him. Look at him.
Oh, the babies.
My name is Donald. Okay, do you want a pen? Want a pen?
They're going to go right on the walls.
No, they're not.
That's what my kids would do.
I love that. So cute.
Tell you what, there's a reason why a woman has an age where she's not able to have more children, because you watch stuff like that and you're like, oh, I remember when.
Look, the Bible said Sarah was almost dang near 100 years old popping out babies. Listen, if you believe the Bible's true, you can be 100 years old and have a baby, boo. Like, let's stop with that. And I rebuke it in the name of Jesus.
If I show up here ever.
I'm trying to have small kids. Y'all not trying to put that on me. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus.
And you should. You make beautiful babies. And I'm just saying.
Now science is saying it's not the egg that deteriorates. It's the man's sperm. So y'all stop sugaring it up and go to the gym and work out and eat meat all day long and stop being so damn lazy.
If I show up in maternity clothes, we're going to shut down the internet. Look, I'm just saying. It's not. No.
We'll be like that movie. What's the name of that movie? Oh my gosh, the name of the movie with Jada Pinkett Smith. They're in the delivery room with their friends, like the eighth baby.
The women.
That's the name of the movie. I'll be in there like, just breathe, Michelle. Just breathe.
No.
I will
babysit your babies.
Okay, cool.
And at some point be a grandma, but not now.
No,
but at some point.
No, I feel that. You get to a point where you just not want to anymore. But
I don't know.
I don't know. Are you even truly Latina if you don't have 12 kids?
But wait, I'm in that season where like, what about like just somebody you want to like travel with and you want to like go do things with?
You're supposed to do before you get married, right?
Okay.
Like while you're
I'm in another
chapter. I'm just saying, like,
hey, judgment.
It's not judging. This is a safe space for that. No judgment. I give you grace. But what I'm saying to our young ladies, because we still have about a minute,
ouch,
is just even the older ones. Look,
ouch. You said this was a safe space. I'm so triggered right now that I might call my Democrat friends.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Look, just get married and get to know your spouse before y'all jump into having babies, and stop putting pressure on these young folks to have babies right after they get married. Let them live a little bit. Let them get to learn each other and travel and unpack all the trauma that they've been in. So that they can figure out how to make that marriage last. Because if you don't do that, you end up in divorce situations and situations that you can't walk out of easily. So let's just feed into our young folks and our folks that want to start over.
And you know what? Don't ever stop believing that love is out there.
Amen.
Because
chivalry's not dead.
Absolutely.
It's just hard to find these days.
On that note, you go enjoy your weekend.
And we'll be back Monday morning, 10 a.m. sharp on all social media platforms. Thank you guys so much for joining Open Mic. Ladies, remember to keep that mic open and be the sharpest tip of the spear in your circle of influence. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.